Operation property, it is a way for you to change the visual representation of each operation. Right now you're seeing those colors here, but essentially you can customize the visual coloring, add more colors, add text, and other types of configuration. And all of that can be done using the operation properties. In order to access that functionality, you can either click on this icon from the toolbar or come to Tools, Operation Properties. This top section here shows you what is the current selected operation properties profile. So right now it's a Cleangantt. It's one that I created. But if you click on it, it's going to demonstrate you all available profiles. So for example, color by resource group. If you click on it, you're gonna see this. It's not very useful because it's a default one. And just for your information, every profile that starts and ends with that symbol over here, it's a default profile. Okay, so the Cleangantt is the only one that I created. Before talking about this, let's create a new profile. In order to do so, you click on this button called Manage Profiles. So this screen here allows you to, of course, edit or delete an existing one. I'm not going to be able to delete this. If I try, it's not going to allow me to because that's the current selected profile. But allow me to edit this one or to create a new one. So let's create one called video. Okay, so in this screen, you can select first what colors do you want the operations to display, what pattern, so solid 60% fill, and what text you want to add. So you can add up to 4 texts, okay? Text lines. So I'm going to demonstrate each one of those functionality here. So let's start with the color. You have basically the main bar color, the low bar color, and the low right bar color. So you can have up to 3 colors in your Gantt chart. So if you select here, you see change coloring mode, you have several different modes. The default one, in this case, is just black. You can select a fixed color, right? And when you do so, you can select what color you want to display. So you see here, you can select a color field. So I'm going to explain this later on. A color theme, I really enjoy this option. So when you select a color theme, you can then select what theme. So you have the default classic stone and then some shades of colors here. So for example, let's select the default one and then you select or the number, for example. And essentially that is the Cleangantt profile that I have, okay? Automatic color, when you do so, essentially Opcenter APS will automatically select color based on the field information, right? So you can get those weird colors here, but it's up to you if you enjoy this or not. And color range, that's for creating heat maps. So color range, then you're allowed to select the from to, so let's say from white to black, and you can apply the default values. To explain this, let me select the demand date, right? The mandate here I have unspecified, which is the default value, and you have the lowest value with this white color, and you see that the shade keeps increasing as the date goes on, right? So if I flag apply color to the default value, essentially the difference between the default, which is a 0 value, -1 value, sorry, which is this unspecified, to this value is too high. So because of that, the gap between the lowest value and to the second lowest value, it is so high that this is the only white value and everything else becomes just black. Okay, so be careful about this configuration. And to get rid of this issue, you can just unflag this option. Okay, so take a look here that the mandate, you can see that it became a shade from white to essentially black. So the last value, the highest value, it's going to be black, and the smallest value, excluding the default in this case, it's going to be white. Okay, all right, come back to video. So those are the column theme. I'm going to explain again the color field very soon. So let's select here the order number and color theme as default. Okay, all right, so if you select now a low bar color, let's put an automatic color and select table attribute 1. Now you see that every bar has 2 colors assigned to it. Okay, so yeah, so this you see here that you have a top color and a which is the background. So the background color becomes the top color, and the low bar color is this one over here. And you can even add a third color. So let me pick up a fixed color and just select here any color. Okay, but also can be, I mean, a color theme again, and it's no, you can select a shade and select, for example, setup start. So this is the maximum of colors that you can have on a bar. So those 3 colors based on fields. There are a fourth color, sorry. So let me keep only this operation in this schedule to demonstrate that. Okay. So coming back here, you see that I have a progress bar color, right? Right now it's the default one, which is this color over here. So in order to see the progress bar, you need to have progress, right? So let's simulate that. So let me put time per item here. 10 minutes, I should be fine. Yeah. And then this time I'm gonna apply, say that the operation is running. I made batch time. It is here 11 May 11, and from 600 I have done already 400, for example. When you do so, you see that now I have from the beginning of the operation until May 11, I have a progress bar. That means that I have reported progress until this time. And now you have a progress bar to represent that, okay? And you can pretty much also customize that using the same methodologies that you have in here, okay? So I know it can be overwhelming with information, but you can, if you are looking only for a given week, so few operations are displayed at the same time, then this becomes very helpful because you can have more information regarding the operation. So, of course, you need to understand what each one of those colors here means. Let me just remove this -1 here. Yep. And before going there, let me explain the text functionality. So as I mentioned, you can have up to 4 text. So let's say I want to have the order number, I want to have the part number, setup start, and quantity, for example. There we go. So you see that I have this information written now in the bar. You can change how this is, draw on the bar, and this is not part of the operation property. It's actually part of the view menu. So So you come to view, the last option is called bar text. And for example, now it's rotating the description. You can remove this. So it becomes, instead of bottom left, it becomes to draw on the top left. You can also have a small description. So it's going to reduce the size of the text. And it can add or remove the outline in the description. That white outline that you have in here, you can add or remove it. Okay? So you see that, of course, the size of the text doesn't change depending on the zoom in or out. So it keeps consistent. So that helps a little bit, seeing what's written here. So let me schedule more stuff now. And the downside of it, it's become very polluted. You see that my Gantt chart is very polluted at the moment, and it cannot be very user-friendly. But that's fine, because you pretty much can just change the profile depending on what you're doing in Opcenter APS. So if you want to see more operations, you select a Cleangantt. It also helps a little bit with the zoom in or out speed. So for example, if I select video here, zooming in or out becomes a little bit slower. So there is a performance performance loss associated to that. So the more information you are displaying, the slower it gets. It's not a massive penalty, but it is a little bit. You have you can notice it. Okay, so you see clean, it's much faster. But for example, selecting this, and if you are just looking at a specific week, so let's say I only want to look at this week over here, right? So it might be helpful because you can zoom in or out to see information. So if you're discussing in a meeting, having this might help you, okay? All right, so I come back here to the profile. One last thing that you have is the pattern. You can change 3 patterns. The progress bar, right? Which is exactly that bar that I demonstrated here. I'm not gonna do anything regarding that. You can change the bar. So right now it's static, solid. Static is as well, you can just select one option. So for example, half tone, small hatch, none, which is pretty much solid. And you can have a pattern field. So for example, for service orders, you want there's no option, no pattern field here in the moment. But if you have, you could assign, for example, to the order type and say this type of order is going to be a specific pattern, and that type of order is going to be a different pattern in order to help you quickly visually identify those orders. Okay, and this here is actually useful. So let me come back to the late one. So see, this operation is late and it's been with this 6% fill. And if you don't like it, you can change it to solid or as well a pattern field or default, whatever. And the list here is pretty big, so you can do whatever you want, select the best one for in your point of view. So this is not so bad, for example. Okay, for the late, because we have other options such as the red color and also the filter option, to highlight late operations, I don't think you need any further visual representation of a late operation. Okay, but it's again up to you to decide. One last feature, it's a really good feature that I want to talk about, the operation properties, is related to this section here. You see that I have 3 different colors in the bar. So I'm going to see 3 different sections: the top, the background color, the low bar color, and the low right bar color. And you can filter using those functionality here. So let me change this. Instead of being set up batch time, I'm going to select table attribute 3, which contains my project number. I'm going to need to come back, probably. Have I not changed it? Oh, sorry, I changed the progress bar. Yeah, table attribute 3. Yeah, so it should automatically update. Right, so for example, if you want to filter, you can pretty much do as selecting records in the editor. So if you left click, it's going to highlight that project. If you just left click, it's going to select a single project. But if you select a project, hold your control key, you can select multiple projects. And also it works, so let me expand this. And also it works, for example, if you want to select from here to here, you hold shift and you select. Now if you hold control, you can add to the selection as you do in the editor, right? So for example, if you want to unschedule those projects, now you can do so. Right, so let me undo. There you go. Another good feature is that the selection happens between areas here. So for example, I want this. So let me first cancel all highlights. So I want this order plus this order plus this order. And I want this plus this project, this project, this project. So it's not an AND condition. It is actually an OR condition. I want to highlight this. It should match those order numbers or those tables, those table attribute 3 values here. So it's not, it needs to be this project numbers, table attribute 3 values, and this. Otherwise, nothing will be highlighted. So it's an OR condition between those sections. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, and of course, plus this, plus this, plus this, plus this. So yeah, so it can help you quickly filter. And of course, let's say we have nothing filtered, the highlighting, I need to lock. The highlighting happens if the operations are also on schedule. So for example, I want all of those projects here, you select there, and you come here to schedule, and you are going to schedule only those projects, right? And again, don't be shy. You can create as many operation profile or properties profile you want, because changing between them, it is pretty fast and easy. Okay, that's it. Thank you.